back. It's time for AFC North edition of Offseason Overhaul. Let's do it. Taking a look at each team, what they lost, what they gained, what they need to do in free agency. And let's start with those Steelers. We talked about them quite a bit in the show. I think their most glaring loss, if we can take a look, Lawrence Timmons, Sean O'Hara, you nailed it. He's their leading tackler. I think they prioritize the now. Slay the dragon, get it done. Add somebody defensively. As we said, a ton of defensive talent. Go get yourself a TJ Watt. Get yourself a guy that can fill in and contribute as a pass rusher as well. Moving on to the Ravens.
All right, so I'm going to add the third O, O'Hara's offseason overhaul.
Okay.
Since we're doing alliteration.
Oh, man, all right.
I'm going to go to what used to be the Cleveland Browns, the Baltimore Ravens.
I remember.
All right. Yes, the Ravens, a little bit of an underachieving year in 2016. Looking to bounce back in 2017. Here's the one thing that they got going for them, which is nice. They're actually healthy. If you remember last year, like half the team was on IR at the end of the year, and then coming into training camp, they were all on PUP.
They were Chargers East.
But when you look at the Baltimore Ravens, here's the one thing, I went back and kind of looked at, all right, what was the season like? Going into Week 16 last year, they were 8-6.
Oh, yeah?
They were playing the Steelers on Christmas Day. I mean, this was a huge present for everybody. If Baltimore won out, they would have won the division. They would have been in the playoffs. So when you look at it like that, it's like, wow, you know what? They were right there. They were pretty close. So when you look at now this team, all right, how different is it? Well, let's take a look at the losses and the acquisitions. All right, here's who they lost. All right, you mentioned the fullback, Kyle Juszczyk.
He's a $5 million OW.
$5 million OW.
Kyle
Right, you guys got to
Juszczyk.
explain that one.
You'll know his name this year. Juszczyk.
Right.
On Twitter, he calls himself Juice.
When you hear OW, you'll know where it came from.
Steve Smith Sr., he's icing up, but he'll be on game day morning with us, so he's retired. Kamar Aiken, Ricky Wagner they lost, but he got a huge contract to go to Detroit. They traded Jeremy Zutaw. First they said they were going to cut him, and then they traded him. They traded Timmy Jernigan. Elvis Dumerville has left the building.
But they got my boy Danny
Zach
Woodhead to help their run game, which was anemic last year.
Yes,
So I'm happy
Danny
about
Woodhead
that.
to help the run game and third down a little bit.
Is that what he said?
Heartbreak Hotel.
Now, here's the thing that's interesting. Look at the other additions that they had. Now, there's a lot of corners in this draft, but they went out and got Brandon Carr. Still got a lot of good football left in him. Tony Jefferson, who's a baller.
Yeah.
They pair him with Eric Weddle now. They re-signed Brandon Williams, who's stout. He's a big old pint of Guinness stout right there in the middle.
Nice. I like a stout.
And they re-signed Ladarius Webb after he was a cap casualty. So when you look at what Ozzy's doing with this defense, all right, he's going all in on the secondary. He's taking care of the back end of it, which is kind of different than what we usually see with Baltimore. Usually it's, boy, they've got 5 different pass rushers, and on third down, you don't know who's coming. They're walking around. It's the amoeba defense. Now it looks like they're taking care of the back end in free agency. This secondary looks pretty unbelievable.
They got to top the Steelers, though, so 16th overall pick. Is that what they have? Who do they grab?
16th overall pick. I think they're going to go after an edge rusher
or
a running back. Now, if Dalvin Cook is sitting there, I think Dalvin Cook would be a huge improvement to this run game. Obviously, last year, Terrence West, we saw them struggle, but they threw the ball so much. Joe Flacco was second in passing attempts. Only Drew Brees threw more passes than him. And when you look at Joe Flacco, you don't think of him as a 650-plus attempt guy. He's more of a big play-action guy down the field. So for Baltimore, I think a running back would really help them out, and they also could use another offensive lineman.
Really quickly on that, there was a great article in USA Today on Friday from Jarrett Bell saying, of all the positions, it looks like Ozzie Newsome has hit home runs in the draft. Wide receiver has eluded him. Whether it be Brendan Perryman a couple years ago, all the Patrick Johnsons, all these guys over the years, Ozzie Newsome in his long storied career is likely a Hall of Fame player and executive, has never hit on a first-round wide receiver. I'm looking at that position at 16. John Ross makes a lot of sense replacing a Steve Smith type.
They love speed. I'll throw out this other guy, too, Leonard Fournette. If he's there at 16. Now, keep in mind this. Ozzie drafted Jamal Lewis in 2000. They went on to win a Super Bowl. A big running back.
If they want Fournette, they're going to have to go up and get him, though, right? They're going to have to go up and get him if they're at 16.
They may have to move up. But
I love him.
Who else we got?
What do you got, Schrags?
I want to do the Browns, and I say this. Yeah, I say this because I feel like this is like the time to be excited about being a Browns fan. You have the first pick, you have the 12th pick overall, you have the 33rd pick. There's a lot of good stuff going on right now in Cleveland as far as the future goes, but now you got to nail it. So I look at this offseason, and what they did was kind of asymmetric than other teams. They didn't go out and spend a ton of money to re-sign Terrell Pryor. They didn't go out and sign a quarterback for a big amount of money. Instead,
they dumped money.
They dumped money left and right, and they collected more picks. But you look at the offensive line right now, and you get Kevin Zeitler, the guy out of Cincinnati who they're spending a ton of money on. pay a guard. J.C. Tretter, a very underrated center who played at Green Bay. They're going to bring him in. He might play guard. And then also Jamie Collins decides to return. Those are 3 really good signs. Jamie Collins could have gotten a big deal somewhere else. He's like, I'm going to go back. I'm going to go back to Cleveland. Before even free agency opened up, he re-signed. So all good signs. The losses, I don't want to be rude to McCown and Griffin. Negligible. Andrew Hawkins, Hawk, we love him here on the show. We'll see if he comes back.
Though.
Pryor, look, Pryor wanted big money. They're going to have to be true to themselves. They said they didn't think that he was worth more than $8 million, which he got signed by the Redskins. So now we look to the draft, get Myles Garrett first overall, and then be creative. You have the 33rd pick. You have the 12th pick. You have, I believe, the
Get all the picks.
Trade up, trade back, have some fun. At the end of the day, though, get a quarterback for the future. There is one in this draft. I think it's Trubisky.
Right.
I think the Jets are looking at him at 6, guys.
From Ohio.
I'm looking at him, though, Cleveland native.
6.
I look at the Jets at 6. I look at all the picks that the Browns have. The Jets likely looking to trade back, maybe trying to get some more stuff. Go up and get Trubisky.
Why not Deshaun Watson?
I'm not thinking Deshaun Watson.
He's a Mr. Biscuit guy.
I'm a Trubisky guy.
He was wearing an orange jersey in college.
That's okay.
Played for Clemson, starts with C.
That's great.
Starts with C.
That's the important stuff, Sean.
This is all important stuff.
You don't think
Focus
that
on what the
Trubisky
fans
has
are
a shot
looking
at being at the bottom of that famous jersey in the window? You know what I'm talking about.
If they sign,
makes me nervous.
If they sign Tom Brady, he'd end up on that jersey.
I know that.
And that thing is doomed. But you have to keep on going. You have to keep moving the ball forward. And I like Trubisky. Find a way to get Trubisky and Myles Garrett, and you're getting those draft grade A's. Now, whether they can develop and perform, that's on the Browns.
Yeah.
But I would find a way to get a quarterback to go with Garrett.
One team left, Kyle.
You think you know everything about somebody? Straig's a big J.C. Tretter guy. I didn't
Love
know that about
J.C.
you.
Tretter.
Why didn't you ever tell me
How did
that?
you not know
I thought we were friends. I didn't.
Only
You knew that?
JC is a great name.
Only
JC
started 4 games for the
Great
Packers.
initials.
But Kyle, he's got so much potential.
I feel left
When
out.
he's healthy.
I feel very left out of the J.C. Tretter inside joke. Listen, you know this. I got Cincinnati here, so and I try to color these things up with the old pop culture, what have you. There's not a lot for Cincinnati.
Wasn't a great year.
Can you go Nick Lachey on us? Right?
Oh, so Nick Lachey, I guess, is a thing. WKRP in Cincinnati.
Good chili.
Johnny Fever, Lonnie. Skyline
You're
chili.
right about the chili.
Yeah, let's put some chili on top of spaghetti and call it a meal. So here's the deal. They had some losses in free agency. In fact, they had a lot of losses. And let's take a look. Rex Burkhead, who I think was their best running back last year. Kay, I know you've loved him. And the ones that jump out are Whitworth and Zeitler, who Strager mentioned, because this is the AFC North. This is the North and South running game. We're going to beat you in the trenches. It's one thing to hear from me that I don't really like what they did, they lost a lot. But Carlos Dunlap, their current player, went on Twitter and he weighed in on their free agency. And I believe we even have it, the social media. I don't see the plan, but guess that's not my role to either. That's the old look, just saying. That's what you call the shade. And he went and felt he had to share that.
It's not the shade, it's shade.
It's the shade. You get I like a table in the shade on the patio.
Did we get a deleted tweet, or did he keep it up?
Are you sure that tweet was
I don't
from this
know.
year? It could have been the last 2 years.
You're right. I don't know if he deleted it, Peter.
Just
Terrence,
retweet.
check on that. We could still play it, or we could still run it, so I guess he didn't take it down. But here's the deal. You got a lot of guys who are very talented and in their prime. I feel like this is go. Now there's an urgency. You got, Dalton, Green, Burfict, Atkins, Dunlap, Bernard, all of these players who are ready to win. They're in their best prime of their whole career. Let's go. Let's run the ball. And by the way, let's stop the run. I got an idea for the draft. And I think every team should take this player. I want them to take Reuben Foster out of Alabama. They have the 9 pick.
I love it.
You love it now. Imagine Vontez Burfict and Reuben Foster in the same LB core, to use Daniel Jeremiah's phrase, splatter all over the place. That's how you stop Pittsburgh. That's how you stop Le'Veon. This is the time now. WKRP, Johnny Fever, go. You don't have time to wait. You're in your prime. Go get a prime linebacker and go take this thing back. You used to be in the playoffs every year. Saturday, Christmas. Go.
Quickly, Sean, Andy Dalton cannot be happy about the departure of those offensive linemen.
He's got to be wondering, what do I have to do to keep guys?
Yes.
2 off seasons ago, it was all his wide receivers were gone. Oh, and he lost his coach, Hugh Jackson. So, yeah, Andy's he's got to be saying, do I have to give money back? What do I have to do? Oh, you let my left tackle go, Andrew Whitwell, a.k.a. Bull Hurley, and Kevin Zeitler.
Hurley.
So 2 of my
Over
best
the top
offensive linemen
reference.
are gone. They bring back Andre Smith. But, Andy, look, he's not the same quarterback when he's not protected and sitting there in that
Turn
pocket.
that hat around. It's like a switch, right?
Yeah.
Hawk Hauling.
Kyle, you did an excellent job on your favorite part of the show with the AFC North Offseason Overhaul. And you can head to NFL.com/offseason overhaul for a complete breakdown of that division. And you can stick with NFL Network throughout the day for more detailed coverage of the AFC North.